Web Divas! So last time in Activity Set 3 we learned about CSS, which is a way of coding in how a site is supposed to look. So we've got our design files, which are CSS, and we've got our structure files, our code and content files, which are HTML. And today we're going to practice a little bit more with using both CSS and HTML, as well as learning how to name different elements so you can make different elements different styles. And so this piggybacks on a question that a couple people asked me last time, which was awesome, about how to have, for instance, two pages, two different colors. So in my setup today, it's just a little bit different. I still have my left side over here and my right side over here. My left side is my development side, and my right side is my viewing side. So I've got my site, katie.webdivasclub.org, up on the right, and I've got development up on the left. I do have two tabs open this time, so I can be working on my HTML on one side and my style on the other side. So go ahead and open up two tabs on your left browser. Open up one of your HTML files. And this is an HTML file that we linked to CSS last time. And you can tell that it's linked to CSS because you'll see this code at the top. And especially this link code right here that is linking to your style file. So open up one of those HTML files. And then on your other side, open up style.css. Cool. Okay, so we're going to start out by making two HTML boxes. And the way you make an HTML box is with this div tag. So go ahead and copy this code. It's at the bottom of Activity Set 4 under Objectives. So go ahead and copy this code by clicking on this right here. Highlight, Command C to copy. And I just press Command C a couple times just to make sure it registered. Find the space in your code where you want to pop it in, and Command V to put it in. So you can see I didn't copy the right thing. I'm going to have to do that again. So copy, here, copy, Command C, Command C, Command C. No. What are you doing? Ah. Copy. Paste. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to add some spaces in here to indent this. And I'll explain why I'm doing this. So I'm indenting because indenting helps programmers see what is going inside what. And so, like, what code is nesting inside what other code. And so this div code that we're making is a box. It's creating a box in our site. And things can go inside boxes. So for instance, we have a paragraph inside a box here. This p tag starts a paragraph. And so you can tell that our box starts here because this is the opening tag. And you can tell it's an opening tag because it doesn't have that slash at the end. And you can tell that this is the closing tag right here because it's the first div closing tag after the opening tag. So this opens our box and this closes our box. And this is the stuff inside the box. And so the stuff inside the box is always indented out from the box, and that's good coding practice that helps you kind of understand your code and helps other people understand your code as well. So you'll see that pretty often, and I try to do that too. Okay, so we've got two boxes. This is one box, and this is a second box. And we've also named those boxes. So you can see the way we name it is we write class equals and then quotes. And then I named it whatever I wanted to. I just named it box 1. You can name it anything. You could name it Katie's box, you could name it awesome box, whatever you want to name it. I named it box 1. And then I named this one box 2. Okay, so save that. Hooray, saved. And then go back over to your CSS. And under Objective 2, actually let's load that and just see what our boxes did. So I'm going to reload my site. Okay. So I see here's one box and here's a second box. And it doesn't look much like a box right now, but it is a box. And I will use style in CSS to show you how it is a box. It just needs some design to show you that it's a box. But that way, loading our page shows us what it looks like without the CSS at all. So that's useful. Okay, So now under Objective 2, we're going to add some style to both of our boxes. So click this to copy, highlight, and if you're like me, you have to copy that a couple times for I'm not sure what reason, but there we go. There it worked. And so what I'm doing here, what this code does right here is each of these pieces here in my CSS file, they're called blocks. And each block applies to a certain set of HTML objects. And so for instance, this block right here applies to the whole body. And that's all body elements, which is really our whole page. This block right here applies to all H1s. And an H1 is like the title of the page. And so you can see my H1 right here. So that style applies to what I've written as Katie's site. And you can see that here actually. You can see the color is close to white. The color is white right here. I'm going to go ahead and take this rule out. If you've got two rules, the second rule is the one that's going to be applied, because it always goes in order of top to bottom. So the color is white right here. The font is impact, and you can see that right here where the font is impact. The border radius is 30 pixels, so you can see that it's got a border that curves right here, and it curves with a radius of 30 pixels. The background color is black, and that's black right there, so you can see that. And the padding is 30 pixels, and so the padding is the space right here, vertically and horizontally, that give that box some kind of space between the content, the text, and the edge of the box. So this is a block that applies to all H1s. This is a block that applies to all H2s. And then finally, the code that I just added is a block that applies to all divs. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us a border that's 5 pixels of solid black. That color is black. And it's going to give us a padding of 20 pixels. So save that. And then reload the page. And so you can see that that applied to both of our boxes. Because, again, here's our block. It says all divs. And you can tell it's all divs because there's, it just says div, that's it. So all divs are going to get a border of 5 pixels solid black and a padding of 20 pixels. Now, here's the question. What do I do if I want the boxes to be different colors? We've learned so far how to apply CSS to all elements on the page, so all divs, all H2s, all H1s. What if I want it to apply, say I want the top box to be one color and the bottom box to be another color? Well, that's why we have names. So we've named, using classes, we've named this box, box 1, and this box, box 2. So going back to activity set 4, we've got CSS to apply to this. So go ahead and click this to copy, highlight, Command-C to copy. Come back over here in your CSS. Okay, and paste. Command-V to paste. And so these rules say, the first rule right here says all divs are going to get a border of 5 pixels solid black and a padding of 20 pixels. The next rule says anything that's called box 1 is going to get a background color like this. And anything that's called box 2 is going to get a background color like this. So what's going to happen? Let's save this and find out. So refresh the page. Cool. So what happened is that all divs, and these are both divs, all divs got a border of 5 pixels solid black. Cool, just like before. All divs get a padding of 20 pixels. So this right here, top to bottom, and this right here, left to right, 20 pixels. And if it doesn't look exactly like 20 pixels, I can explain why, but that's essentially what it's doing. And then box 1 is the first box. It gets a background color that's this color. It's that teal color. And then box 2 gets a background color that's this color, right here. Okay, so if you wanted to give your bodies different colors, for instance, you could give your bodies a name. So one thing we could do to make, say, this body yellow, for instance, is give it a class. So we're going to say body class equals, well, let's give it a cool name. Let's see, we'll call it opening page. Well, it's not as cool, but that's okay. So we'll give it a name, opening page. Save that. Let it save, let it save. Doo, doo, doo. While it's saving, I'm going to work on the CSS. And this is another reason that it's helpful to have both tabs open at the same time. So underneath body, and I'm putting it underneath body just to remind myself that this is a class that's applying to body. But this rule could go anywhere in my style file. I'm going to write dot, because names in CSS start with a dot, and remind myself what I called it. I called it opening dash page. So I'm going to say opening dash page. Do an opening bracket, a closing bracket, and then my rule in the middle. And my rule in the middle is going to be background color, and then yellow. CSS knows some color names like this. It's better to use the hashtag, because with the hashtag you can get exactly the color you want, and the browser's going to guess if you write a name like this, and it's not going to know every name. So it might not know like aqua or magenta or something like that. It's more likely to know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue. But just for the sake of the video, I'm going to write background color yellow. So go ahead and save that. So now let's refresh this page and see what it did. It made it yellow. Why did it make it yellow? So it goes from, the CSS goes from top to bottom in order of rules, and then it goes from least specific to more specific. So the first thing it's applying is a background color of this, which is that orange, to the body. But then it sees that everything that's called opening page should get a background color of yellow. And so it applies this because this name, opening page, is both after the body and it's more specific than the body. So the body is, this applies to all bodies. This only applies to things called opening page. So that applies a background color of yellow. Okay, one last thing. What happens if we name something else opening page? So I'm going to change my name here. So right now, box 2, this second box has a name, box 2. I'm going to instead give it a name of opening page, opening dash page, just like that body class. So what's going to happen? I save that. Oh good, it saves quickly. Save that and see what happens. Let's see if it saved so far, I'm not sure. I'm going to refresh the page to see if it did work. Okay, good. So, it's taking a while to reload. But what happened is I gave it a class that was the same as the body class, and the body class said everything in that body should be yellow. And I made the box yellow as well. There we go. So now you can actually see the code that I'm talking about. So originally I gave the body class opening page, and I said everything that is called opening page should have a background color of yellow. Well, that doesn't have to just be the body. I can also make my box have the name opening page. And so I changed the name of my box to opening page and saved that. And since opening pages are all yellow, they all have the background color of yellow, this box now has a background color of yellow. So, the thing to do today is both to play with editing your CSS and editing your HTML and going back and forth and kind of seeing what's CSS, what's HTML, and seeing how much you can do with it. So, go to your activity set, objectives, and go through these objectives, copying and pasting the code, and then from there, once you've finished with all the objectives, you can keep working on editing your site so that it's more and more custom. So make sure you answer these questions as well, just in your head or with your partner. When you do Objective 2 and you give your boxes an outline, answer why this applied to both boxes. And again, under Objective 3, talk with your partner, why did this code make each of your boxes different colors? And then see, without copying and pasting code, but generating your own code, make 2 different of your web pages 2 different background colors. And then once you're done with that, go over to the CSS page and use your own custom CSS and see what you can do. And you can copy and paste any of this code. Any of these lines can go anywhere under any of these HTML elements. Try all of these, copy and paste. Again, you can get fonts here next to font options, and you can get colors next to get the hex value of a color over here, the more resources. So get your custom colors. You've got the hex codes up here. When you go through your colors, the hex appears right here. If you have questions, talk with your partner first. And if you still have questions, raise your hand and we'll come around and answer them. And just have fun. Okay, bye.